First, a cartel associate brokers the sale and shipment of fentanyl precursor chemicals, principally from China, to clandestine labs in Mexico where the fentanyl is manufactured. Cartels traffickers move fentanyl from Mexico into the United States, where it is sold wholesale to other criminal organizations. Before resale, those criminal organizations often mix fentanyl powder into other drugs, such as cocaine and heroin. They also often sell fentanyl pills as counterfeit prescription pain medications.
And that was Attorney General Merrick Garland on Friday after the Justice Department charged 28 members of Mexico's Sinaloa drug cartel in a massive investigation into fentanyl trafficking into communities across the United States. Meanwhile, the Treasury Department sanctioned 2 Chinese companies for providing the chemicals needed to manufacture that fentanyl. This comes as over 35,000 pounds of fentanyl have been seized over the last 3 fiscal years, with untold more making its way across the southern border undetected. In Arkansas, Republican Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders signed a bill last week which could charge drug dealers with aggravated murder if they knowingly deliver fentanyl that results in an overdose, facing a minimum sentence of 20 years in prison if convicted. Joining me right now is the woman herself, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who will mark 100 days in office this upcoming Wednesday. Governor, congratulations on 100 days. Good to have you this morning.
Thanks so much for having me on, Maria.
And you've got a lot to celebrate, from education to this crime stance. Let's talk about these bills that you signed into law, Arkansas's Death by Delivery Act. I want to get your take on the significance of this fentanyl killing Americans right now.
You know, if the Biden administration, I'm glad to see that they're finally stepping up and doing something to crack down, because the breakdown at the border has allowed fentanyl to pour into our country, and we are seeing the impact in communities across the country. And because they have allowed this to take place, states are having to step up and crack down ourselves. And that's exactly what we did here in Arkansas. We passed legislation this first session of mine to crack down on drug dealers, specifically targeting those who are trafficking fentanyl. If you knowingly traffic fentanyl that causes an overdose, you will now be charged with murder. And if you traffic fentanyl to kids, you can also be charged with a life sentence. So we are cracking down where the Biden administration has failed to actually step up. And I think we're going to see a lot of states doing exactly this, because it's become so necessary with the out-of-control drug problem that we're seeing everywhere in our country right now.
Well, I mean, you have come at this from a leadership standpoint, as a governor, as a woman, as a mother, and you've attacked not just the crime crisis and fentanyl crisis, but also education. You see this as your biggest accomplishment in this first 100 days, right? Education.
Absolutely. We passed what I think is the most historic landmark education legislation, certainly in my state of Arkansas, but probably anywhere in the country, where we went from being the lowest in teacher pay, we were number 48 in the country, to top 5, where we focused on empowering parents and making sure that they have the ability to decide where and how their kids can best be educated. We're putting real resources into our schools, and I think we are bringing about transformational change when it comes to education here in Arkansas that can be a blueprint for every state in the country.
Yeah, and you've also put a spotlight on social media and the impact on minors.
We have had a very busy first 100 days in office. We also passed legislation that would require parental consent for any new user on social media under the age of 18. We have seen the absolute just damage that social media is causing to our young people, with anxiety, depression, suicide rates skyrocketing among teens, in large part due to social media. We want to get more kids off screens, protect them from the dangers. Frankly, I'd love to see them off screens more and outside a whole lot, if we can change the way that our culture is focusing, but really putting that power back into the hands of parents so that they know what their kids are doing and protecting them for the long haul.
Well, that's been behind this movement in Washington to try to ban TikTok. I mean, governors across the country are doing it, but it's unlikely in my mind that the Democrats are really going to ban TikTok, because it's a tool to attract young people. I mean, even as governors were talking about banning TikTok, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did a video on TikTok.
I think we've seen that Democrats' priority is a lot more about building their voter base than it is about protecting our country. We've seen that time and time again. I don't expect that they're going to take meaningful action on things like banning TikTok, which is, again, why we've had to count on governors to step up. We banned TikTok from all government devices here in the state of Arkansas. I know a number of other states have done that as well. And I think that you're going to continue to see conservative Republican governors step up where the federal government constantly fails.
Well, it's also this China threat that you're seeing Republican governors also take on. Now, this has been more bipartisan than some people know, because the Committee on Communist China is headed by Mike Gallagher, a Republican, but there are also Democrats who understand the threat. Tell me about that surveillance threat and the CCP wanting to buy more land near our military installations. What are you doing about it?
We have passed a number of pieces of legislation to push back against the infringement of the Chinese government, whether it's banning TikTok on our state devices, banning the use of Chinese drones here in the state, as well as banning the purchase of land here in Arkansas by a company majority owned by the Chinese government. So we are looking for every place we can to push back from the Chinese government infringement here in our country. And I know a number of other states that are following suit. We're going to continue to lead on this issue, and I hope that the federal government will as well.
Governor, it's great to have you. Congratulations to you on 100 days, and we hope you'll come back soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Maria. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you so much. And to you, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.